Tatsuya Katayoko, they're all from the Toyota roster. Through Moulton and up the hill. One feels this to be coming to go GT3 racing, which will be the secondary class in the World Endurance Championship.
And it had some Ferrari, the light of the Ferrari factory team, and again at Nürburgring at 61 in very
will have a lot more to cheer. But like this period, it took them a long time to take their first win. 5 minutes pace got his 59. Turbo engine through the the back to the second place between the Ready on 2 and Jules Wheeler. Fisticuffs in every corner.
This chassis 3030 is one of only 3 of these ATTFs ever built, and the only one to be here at Goodwood and to be doing this run up the hill.
Well, for us it's extra special to be here at Goodwood because obviously it's a lot far away for us to come here, and the reason for that is to show off all these really
elements of this car, even the wheel
They're actually shown publicly making its global dynamic debut here.
All rotary
and Hampton down just through our first ever Southern Bash at Highland Park in Queenstown, just outside of Queenstown. Finally to Cosworth V12 race grade suspension in this pattern manual gearbox, giving that proper old school vibe that brought
Favourite, it looked, yeah, absolutely. Gas turbine was not something that ended up working. As you say, it's been developed from IndyCar, which wasn't quite the perfect thing, but always an interesting pattern to enjoy.
looking a bit into the corner. Breezing past our commentary box now. How's its way
Something
through.
really quite different.
No, but this by Lunaz, again, it's another reimagined, the Rolls-Royce. He's got a he made his Corvette rotary. And we've seen that vehicle here at Goodwood as well. Several decades ago, although it's fake competing at
Start line at 2 litre, 4-cylinder, 43, only 10 miles. It wasn't easy for Sterling wants to win, was it, John?
Sterling, the reason Sterling won is because most teams at front engine Formula
You're going to roll it. It's a reservation, isn't reservation over. I should come back to the car.
spectacular. I've always been a fan of touring, small saloons with large wings and excellent someone who tried to refer to this as Formula £35,000 because that's what each of the feet. He's got a lot of towing displays and he's so effective at it.
I saw you with that. So certainly
Many things that we love, they can't be really measured in terms of numbers, music and those kind of passion is not really quantifiable. And that's the kind of culture that we want to capture and transfer into the electric era.
and coming over from the RX7 then, what would you say the main differences? You talked about how when you launch a new car, things develop. What?
When you look at these displays, you wonder what these enjoying every second. A couple of years ago, or I should say pre-COVID, David Green and myself and our other
Jackie has Ford Cosworth engines, but he always had arguably the best Ford Cosworth engine. But the Tyrrell team, a small, tight unit based on a voting. Jackie Shooting became the other for Cosworth Scenario, joined the team in, I think, 1970. And an enormous success
at this speed. This is his eye view as he approaches Moulcombe, and you know what? If that Moulcombe's gone through him, but the track just crests very slightly before you come into that corner. Going too deep, well, you know the rest. Tightly gripping the steering wheel, David Green becoming the because the shape of the Ferrari. when the Ferraris would run with V12 engines, they would be under great big long bonnets, and I love that hint things past. Now, hinting competition.
Colin McRae, also Tommy Mackinnon, you know, give him his flowers, as the kids say as well. Speaking of flowers, we're going to smoke those things down, courtesy of a 3-rotor Volvo wagon. This thing is carbon Kevlar underneath that Sunoco livery. This is Cole, and Axel Turbo is his YouTube page. He bought this thing for £1,500. It was in some just kind of went the wind, and then he brought it back to life in grand fashion. He has a video right now that has like 100,000 views.
The car has stand out to me. It's not the look of the car, it's the howl of a V10 engine being revved on board right now. Listen to it.
It is wonderful, isn't it? Yes. Mika Hakkinen, such a star.
In 2024, but never seen in public until
Global dynamic debut right here at the Festival of Speeds. And it is loud.
an array of his cars making their way up the hill. Dario Franchitti piloting this, the Gordon Murray.
Yeah, he's really getting a lick on, isn't he? As he hurtles into Moulcombe, kicks up the dust, sounding absolutely
Meaty and for Mike with it, of course, we see him in the drift cars, quite extraordinary runs with a lot of Red Bull backing, does great Red Bull events all around the world. I'm just hearing of a fantastic one down near Queenstown in New Zealand, but he can't help himself, and we don't want him to help himself. But in fact, he set his master on fire early this morning, went up the hill, the oil trail had to be cleared, but right now he's
proud, going fast. Absolutely, winner of the Formula.
in front of you in the night in the fog, but to win the 24 hours that this car did, you know you've done something very, very wrong. We moved from the fierce battles between the BMW Batmobile, that was the 3-litre CSL, and the Ford Cologne Caprice.
Technical delegate had said no, fraud, yes, and that gave them an enormous technical advantage. Downforce certainly was, and that assisted with Jensen winning almost the first 6 or so Grand Prix on the trot. Eventually teams caught up and the battle for the championship became a lot tighter with the Braun and the Red Bull as the
We've got the Red Bull RX7 here, and it's Patrick Friesecker who's driving it up the hill.
Lots to develop, lots of work to do, but wonderful to see it here. It's finding its form, you know, it's sort of late to the party. There are other manufacturers coming in here, so be ahead of them. Well, it is the winner, and certainly at Le Mans, talking to the fans when I was down there, everyone was
a part of the chassis, because the front suspension, I think, put attached to subframe, then reliability the left side. Also, I think in 1955,
And this is the one that will be, we think, setting the pace because it was yesterday in the timed shootout that was just a practice session. It was yesterday afternoon.
You've got a fantastic, short, sharp, very tightly pushed rally course happening all weekend, and quite a lot of the cars do go up and play on that as well. Over 120.
On the throttle pedal, but hopefully we'll be able to hone in and hear the screaming, John, as you're waiting at the screen.
driving at Joe McCarry, better known as the purveyor of high-class quality.
Up the hill, although when you hear it, there is nothing stealth like it with a 5.2-litre V10 itself to the checkered flag.
Yeah, so this car dates from 2012, so it's a bit of a bit.
We like the people at the top of companies to be motor.
Go ahead, catch your breath.
No, just when you have to lean back in the commentary box, go,
Yes.
wow.
Yes, sir. Look at this. This is absolutely amazing. Ryan Turk, relax. We got another day and more demos to put on and put smiles for miles. Ryan Turk found his 3S GTE Toyota-powered stout. You can see the wide body. You can see the flares. Brand new Beltec suspension on the corners. The race service boys are watching from the stage.
The highlight reel. I have not seen anyone do that around that wall. That was
I've hardly seen
incredible.
anyone even slightly sideways around the wall. Yes, a little bit, but that was all fully across the course. The flint ball, maybe caught him out. I don't think so. That was supreme talent.
Wasn't it just?
Can crumble, but the way the teams were run, absolutely amazing. Under Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich, they had every eventuality. They already had the tools in place, knowing how to fit it. A lot of unitary elements.
Of Pagani's own Mercedes-developed V12, and it sounds wonderful.
Yeah, this is very much built for that LMP2 level of performance in prototype racing.
They still sort of blink and go, really? It's modern to my eyes.
It does, doesn't it? It still has that modern look to it, and it was a fantastic machine. For the McLaren to have the road car, but then was convinced, the McLarens were convinced to actually race it. It was. F1 car with 6 wheels ever to run actually in races.
Yes, I think it was behind the 6 wheels was not, you don't need 6 wheels, but it was to get a much lower.
it's this quiet, silent assassin of tires. So it's really interesting to see. Again, I've ridden in an R32 with an EV motor. That's kind of a Tesla motor into a Skyline. I've seen a Camaro. So here's a manufacturer saying, let's build an electronic drift car. You know, we've seen the Mach-E 1400, which Von Kitten Jr. built in conjunction. We've seen that on the hill. We've seen the Transit. But here's Hyundai saying, hey, let's build a purpose-built drift car specifically for that. And, you know, I believe it's one of the techs from Hyundai in itself driving this car. He did a 3-minute burnout the other day, so got a little clear track, so why not?
Yeah, scratch the surface Hyundai, they're doing things very, very differently, and there's a huge amount of...
Listen up for some interviews in the months ahead of what they're building into their road car range. I mean, I struggle to get a hire car.
Spider.
Yeah, and we go from one convertible to another. And this is the first convertible Ferrari since 1969. That was the 365 GT.
It will be this one, the when they'd all be lined up on the start line back when I used to go to Silverstone as a kid.
Car on that ex-comp, you know, Ultimaniac, Chris Forsberg, but he was pushing those hay bales. No, hey, they do not give back. And there is James the Machine Dean, 4-time Formula Drift champion, unarguably probably the best drifter in the world.
Heart of a gentleman, but a monster behind the wheel. He's piloting this RTR.
Press on, he does follow the yellow grass.
Cool is at the wheel, coming up towards Moulcom now, the little kick to the right.
Past the flip wall now.
Yeah, this car is fresh from setting a brand new record, and that is from 0 to 200 miles an hour and back to 0 again in 25.79 seconds, which is...
Carbon fibre monocoque, a nod of course to the McLaren Formula 1 team with the...
Scarso.
Yeah, I'm just talking about time, Andy, on the just about off on absolute really wet weather tires. All the cars are running up the hill on a wet weather tire. This is probably the
sound too shabby either, does it? Rorty engine of Ricky Taylor, an illustrious American racing family. Great to have him on board this weekend.
Yeah, lovely to see it. So we will see just how it comes.
And you contrast then McLaren F80 Le Mans 24 hours in 1995.
And driven by JJ Leto.
Up and down the field when it comes to supercars. We've got the Koenigsegg CC850. This very much paying homage to the past and looking towards the future.
It is. It's a bit of a
2.5 litre period. And look, people have them today. They race them. They love them. They're actually very car, which is almost not, well, it is identical to the car we just.
Side of the story was brilliant to watch. What's it like fighting with your team?
Now some drivers will push it hard, others will take it a little bit more carefully. Now until it's pushing hard, you may see the next up the hill going a little bit more rapidly because they are rally cars who love showing off.
WRC2 Toyota Yaris here. This is the mode.
Ferrari MC Extrema. We saw this waiting in the wings. A track-only racing car. Only 62 of these produced.
Driving this, and it was, of course, an absolutely crucial part of their many victories.
Has been crucial.
Yeah, it wasn't just the speed of the cars as we went into the more recent years at Le Mans 24 Hours.
2004 or 2005. That's a 80 horsepower in a car weighing less than 600 kilograms. They make the current Formula.
1,850 brake horsepower. Now, it's not going flat out to dig through the approach.
wonderful yellow trims on board this. Back really from 2016, but a track only. Again, Ferrari's XX program.
Yes, so like I just said, the XX cars are normally track only. The previous have their cars looked after by the Scuderia and taken to tracks by Ferrari, and they can just play with them. What a nice day out, isn't it?
That is an incredible experience. 6.3 litre naturally aspirated V.
That helmet, that looks like young Ollie Behrman behind the wheel of that, that's going to stop perfectly outside the house, do some donuts for the crowd out there, kicking up a little bit of dust as well. But as you said, this is the 2024 Haas Ferrari F80, 1.6
onto the grass.
litre, bit of grass cutting there, kick up more dust for those stood alongside. But this is the 1.6 litre charged hybrid, and I have to say,
maybe power from the old school, but it is packed with modern day technology. It's got a KERS style hybrid system developed with Rimac. Looking forward to seeing this car. I've read all about it, and now we're getting our first glimpse at it very close. You don't want to go there, mate, trust me. But this car is packed with beautiful aerodynamic accoutrements, which reference the HDK
rear wheels, and yet keep it all under
Bit of a smell, different smell as he heads up the hill.
Yeah, if he offers you a used car, still.
straight past the house, but what an iconic car. Bought by Ross Brawn, the team was, for £1, John. Just £1, and look at the success they had.
They took those 4 titles with Sebastian Vettel in the 2000, sorry, in the 90, not well, yeah, in the 2010, 11, 12, 13, when Sebastian Vettel was able to dominate that period, and for Red Bull it was absolutely crucial. So the RX7 here, this is the 2011 version that we're enjoying, and had 3 seconds at the wheel of this one. Very dominant with 12 wins in the 19 Grand Prix, 20.
And all kinds of extra features which customers may require in the dealership. But yeah, this is a bit of a bridging gap between the road cars and the GT cars.
A factor of development of modern machinery, so no doubt about it.
took me 10 hours.
Full glass of water. It's about 6, 7. And the smoke coming from the start line, well, that is the Lotus Evija, which is making its way now in that.
Track focused weapon, as you can see, huge wings. On it to try and push the air down onto push the car down on the road. But this is definitely pushing on somewhat, that's for sure.
He certainly is. Right, we go to something brand new from brand and from manufacturer, the Xpeng G6, the Avero, and you know, voices slightly, and that is who we're also celebrating through the main feature in front of the generation of BMW vehicles in class, which really providing some advantage in technology, developing an astonishing vision driving series.
1992, but it took points in every race that year with Schumacher and his teammate Martin Brundle winning up
Hill, I think it's the Daytona SP3 from Ferrari. World Endurance Championship livery adorned on it. Sorry, the Ferrari SF90XX Spider, I should say.
Unloaded from the beautiful BMW thing that stands out.
Yeah, with a 93 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery on board as well. Lotus really packing a punch once more. Teased us with their offering last year. The downforce semi-active coilover suspension with 4-way great components as well to help with the cooling and the feel and the durability, making this
RX7. Okay, mate. Yeah, I'll see you soon.
Peter joined the team, I think, there later on throughout the weekend.
Years, and this is going back effectively as a homage to the first Koenigsegg, the CC85. Comes with
F1 car. This was the sort of first race of 1977 was with a Walker. Next step is a hydrogen powered a concept car from Alpine, who are really coming out all guns blazing at the moment with so many new cars for road going use, and this catching a lot of eyes. Absolute beauty. Carl the Great. Performance car making its way, and the red set off the Audi Quattro silently escapes up the hill.
Yes, and I mean this is.
You're getting a closer look in that supercar paddock. Down the supercar paddock over the bridge. There is so much on offer. It's a huge paddock, but there is something for everyone. Exquisite, I love it. It's just, even from the headlights, so bold as well. And we can talk about this for a
and making it work, and it looks like an Alpine not competing in the World Endurance Championship and Formula One, and you can see much more is coming. In the world of exquisite cars, Pagani.
enjoyed on success. I think he may have had a fairly big shot in Canada. 1974 S. Years at the Festival of coming up the field, the first of which the Porsche 911 reimagined by Singer, and then the Porsche 9. Sixth place finish, but we shall see. They have definitely had some good qualifying again.
so much downforce you couldn't even hear his co-driver screaming.
Stop! They made it to the checkered flag. Well. Technology has been developed specifically for the next generation of BMW vehicles.
I define anybody to ignore the Pagani Huayra R EVO. Also, when you know,
quite extraordinary and
Expensive though, still has that very special sound, and I really thoroughly approve of the very
achieve over the other.
Quite a tricky little thing, and the boss, we've seen him take that as well. He's definitely speeding up.
It certainly is. Like Aaron for the speed record, they're allowed to dash their go over.
Back in place, with that wonderful position. We have some great images all around. heading up the hill. This is the Superman 4.2. Another one you see.
Dynamic debut and very much behind the wheel. Trying to put on a bit of a show for this final Supercar run of the weekend. This is pretty impressive.
So Lanzante, of course.
Ricard circuit, and it came good, and even Capelli led an awful lot of the race.
throughout, you're obviously in Britain. What is the
sensational, wasn't it? And Jenson Button won 6 of the first 7 races. Who would have thought that when they rocked up to for now, but it does preview a Halo mod coming
Innovators section.
Absolutely beautiful,
Hey, YouTube. Okay.
if you're down at the start line of the Pagani Huayra R
with its V10, 3-litre V10 engine.
wheel in this car, which was slightly damaged. It had a bit of side pod damage. Adrian Newey was leaning over the pit wall. With engineering from Cosworth, 4 valves per cylinder on this. Looking for
Right,